I love a bright under eye. Some people, they don't. One thing about me, I am going to whack on the concealer, and I feel like Radiant Creamy, she's never let me down. I've gone between quite a few different shades as well. I use Caramel when I just want like a gentle bright under eye, and then I have Sucre Dulce for when I want something really bright. I've got Amande for when I don't want to wear foundation. Like, I have several shades of this because it's so creamy, it dries down so well, and it works across most skin tones, which I find is kind of rare these days.
Definitely. You have got amazing shade range of 36 colours now, which is incredible. So there will be a shade for you. I'm using 2 shades here. I'm actually using Amande just to colour correct. It's got the red undertone, and I'm going to go in with Caramel to brighten. So I just use, obviously, Amande all over underneath the eye, and I'm just going to go in with a little bit of Caramel, and I'm just going to dot in the inner corner. Like I said before, I don't use a lot of product when I'm doing skin.
How are you using the brush to apply the concealer?
So I was very happy about this because I used to use this eyeshadow brush, a fluffy eyeshadow brush, before we actually launched the Radiant Creamy Concealer Brush. So this is the actual brush for it. Do you have it?
Yes, I do. I do.
What I love about it is that it's got a slant, so you can get right into the inner corner and up underneath the lash line as well. So I love using it, obviously, if I need to get right underneath the eye. Depending on the eye shape as well, it's really great for that. Also, the inner corner hairs, you're not poking out your eyes, so it's nice and natural. And then I blend it into the skin, so in circular motions, literally buffing it in, so it sits really beautifully on the skin.
Okay, I've actually not used a brush to do my concealer. I'm sort of more a beauty blender or a beauty sponge girl. What about you guys? Are you guys beauty blender or brushes? Both? Oh, brush. Okay, it's a real mix. I just feel so intimidated by the brush. Like the bristles and the strokes, I'm scared, like, am I gonna get that weird patch that, you know, when you have to start again because now you have that weird patch under your eye, like, I don't want that. So how can we make sure we get such an amazing finish all the time? Because I'm up close and I can see this looks really good.
So this, like I said, it's got a flat end and a pointed end, so I use a flat end to buff it into the skin, so starting off and then literally in circular motions buffing it in. And then what I tend to do is I always go back to my fingers, especially when I'm doing skin, to literally just press it in and make sure that it's seamlessly applied.
I feel like also because your fingers are warm, it really helps to sort of warm up the product and get it to really melt in. And I think that's the difference of what I'm seeing compared to like just using a sponge or just using a brush.
Definitely. And that's what your fingers will always do. And even when you do put like too much foundation on the skin, if you just warm up your hands and then press your hands, it will actually work down the foundation in the skin and just take off the excess foundation that your skin doesn't need. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm actually going to just use a little bit more of the Amande, and I'm just going to use it around the lip line where we do have a little bit of pigmentation. So like I said, you can use this concealer everywhere. The only time I wouldn't use this concealer, and I would grab the soft matte concealer, because we have a soft matte complete concealer as well, just in a pot, and it's full coverage, and it's absolutely seamless. It gives you an airbrush. Yeah,
when do you bring out soft matte?
Yeah. That is the time that I use it. When I kind of have any redness in the skin, you've got any rosacea, any pigmentation, you might want to use, and also if you've got any blemishes, for instance. So you don't want to use something that's light reflected on a blemish, because obviously you're going to highlight it more. So the soft matte comes in use then.
Yeah, I've actually seen a creator, I think this week, her name's Alice, and she was like, oh, I've got a spot, and she brought out soft matte concealer, and it literally disappeared on camera. So since then, I had to go to the shop and make a purchase. I was like, oh, I need that in my life. And I usually color correct or conceal before I do foundation. Is there a way that you prefer? Are you like a foundation then concealer, or do you do like conceal correct then foundation?
So I've been doing makeup for a very long time, and I feel like old school way I was taught was concealer first and then foundation on top. Does anyone do it like that? Yeah? But now, I do it the other way around, and there's a reason for it. The reason is because I feel like when I put my concealer on and then I put my foundation on top, I'm just moving around what I've already applied with the concealer.
That makes sense.
Where I feel like it's almost like, you know, you've got the underwear, like you need that perfect underwear under a black dress, right? And it's kind of that kind of concept where if you've got the wrong underwear, you know, lips ain't sitting where it's supposed to be sitting,
Yeah.
you know, and nickel line
It's
is
not
there.
snatched.
Right, do you know what I mean? So for me, I see it as, you know, you should be able to put your foundation on, and this is a great way so you don't apply too much foundation. You're supposed to put your foundation on, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, where do I need to add a little bit more coverage? That's where your concealer comes in. Do you know what I mean? So that's the way I see it.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just going to set with a little bit of the translucent powder. And this is the light reflecting translucent powder that gives you no flashback. Absolutely amazing. I'm not going to use it everywhere. I never powder the face all over.
Really?
No, I knew you was going to say that.
Wow.
The reason being is because I've just done that whole glow, right? So if my client's saying to me, Cherelle, I want to be really, really glowy, I'm not going to then use powder to flatten the skin too much. Even though this is light reflective, so it's not going to flatten your skin, and take away all the glow. I kind of want to start adding dimension in the skin, and this is a great way of adding dimension by mattifying the center of the face, where you kind of produce the most oils, usually, and then leaving that glow in this area. So when the light naturally hits off the skin, you still get that beautiful glow going.
Okay, because I have this in Mesa, and I use it as my face powder, and I do realize that when I use it, it doesn't completely dry me down or mattify me, because I think there's a lot of powders where you put them on, and they look flawless, but as you go throughout your day, you notice that you look ashy almost.
Yeah.
So I always look for ways to try and avoid that.
Okay, so this is your way. Try this way and see how you get on. The only time I would say as well is that if you're going to use like a cream product or a powder straight on, you then have to think about the way you're going to apply it. Do you know what I mean? The technique. Because obviously that is almost still creamy and wet. Does that make sense?
And she looks really radiant, but from within, like she just came from holiday,
right?
As opposed to like big chunks of glitter on.
I hate that.
Yeah.
So I prefer to add a glow from within and use all like the skincare and the prep to add a glow to the skin instead of like artificial like glitters and highlighters.
That makes sense.
Okay. All right. Can everyone see the skin? Because I'm conscious that you guys can't.
Yes. Can you see the skin?
Yeah.
The skin is skinning.
Okay. Perfect. All right, so now what we're going to do is go on to some fun, and we're going to use this beautiful palette. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Have you seen it? Have you tried it?
It's gorgeous.
So beautiful.
It was the first thing I saw. When I came in here, I was like,
what's that?
What is that? I want it.
So this is a limited edition. This is part of our Christmas collection. And I just had to use this because it's absolutely stunning. It's a new formula. So we have got our light reflective complex in it. So it hits the light beautifully and gives you a nice glow. But it's also got some unique colors in there. And colors that some people might be scared of using, okay? When it comes to blushes, or any color actually, lipsticks, eyeshadows, I always say it's only makeup, you can take it off.
Yeah.
Please don't go through life without trying something new, do you know what I mean, or different, right? So what I'm going to do is go for, what color do you think I should use? I know you're going to go for
choose. No, please don't give me the pressure.
I'm going to use, because you said before, that this color, so I'm going to go in straight with this color, because I think this is the bright color, it's light reflective, it's the one that people are like, how would I use that?
Yeah.
So we're going to go in for that. But what I love about palettes is that you can kind of custom blend your own shade, and that's what I love about them. Great for a gift idea as well.
So you're mixing the top 3 shades right now?
Literally.
Okay.
All right. So when you're applying your blusher and pigment, it's always like obviously on the brush hair. Either push it into the brush or tap off the excess first. So you get a really nice start to your blusher. You don't want it to be too prominent because like Mikai was saying, you have to start again, which we don't want to do, okay?
Yeah.
So push the pigment into the brush, and then I'm going to go on. And first thing I want to do is tap it on, because like I was saying, I've still got that beautiful glow going on the skin, and I don't want it to go patchy. So I'm literally just going to tap it onto the skin.
I noticed that you hardly do any swiping.
No.
I don't think you've swiped once. So everything has been stippling or just gently blending in rather than like swiping back and forth. And I think we're so used to, especially with liquid and cream products, just sort of putting it on and then just like going like this because we really want it to blend out. So I think we all have to like mentally unlearn swiping.
No, press, stipple. This is the way that you're going to get that beautiful glow going in that skin where it's not going to go patchy, especially when you're using your cream products. I know a big thing at the moment is like the liquid cheeks of the liquid blushes that you've got out at the moment, like the Orgasm, went super viral as well. But you wouldn't apply it and literally do this. You would literally press it onto the skin.
Yeah.
Just turn so everybody can see that beautiful
That looks
shade
gorgeous.
on the skin. Like, how gorgeous is that, right?
Really nice.
Absolutely stunning. And then I'm going to go in with this pink, just on top, this beautiful iridescent glow.
I love how you've carried the blush up into her eyelid and into her cheekbones and temples. How could we implement this at home?
It all depends on your face shape, but what you want to do is start off from the apple of your cheeks. You want to glide up, and it's a technique that we call a boomerang blush. It is actually a technique that you can do with all your blushes at home already. And you want to wrap it into the eye. I always do it.
Yes,
Got it on today.
Gorgeous. It makes your look so cohesive.
But that's the thing that it does. It's great if you're trying to create that monochromatic look where you're using like different shades that kind of comes in together. And I always do this. Doesn't matter what kind of eye look I'm doing or makeup look that I'm doing, I always wrap that shade into the eye, okay? So it comes together really beautifully.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add this beautiful on the brow bone.
And I love that you can use the colors to sort of layer on top of each other. And I think we should all sort of practice this layering technique some more, because I guess it's how you really get that multi-dimensional finish.
You do. Exactly that. And I would go back in with a powder on top of this and then the cream again on top of this. I love layering.
Okay, how do we layer the cream on top of a powder?
So you need to literally press it in, and I will always still do it with my fingers. Try and stay away from brushes. I find it's a little bit more harder. It takes a little bit more practice, not that it can't be done. And I will always go with powder and then cream, powder, cream. And you'll see when I do the smoky eye, it's actually a technique that Mr. Francois NARS actually taught us himself to do, and it's something that he's always done.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So we're going to teach you that also.
Okay,
when
we need to get on our
smoky
Zoom,
eye,
guys. Okay, I'm going to be paying attention.
Okay, so we're just going to finish off just adding this beautiful blush on this side, and we're going to go on to eyes now. And we're going to be doing
it looks gorgeous on the brow
eyes.
bone.
How stunning is that? Turn this over for me. Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Blush done. So now we're going to go on to using the Via Veneto eyeliner.
It's a pencil eyeliner, but it has the consistency of a gel. We literally had a whole chat about this eyeliner before we started because it's so black, it's so dark, and I have an issue with eyeliners that when you put them on, especially when you put concealer on and sort of in your waterline, and it comes out gray. That's my biggest pet peeve of eyeliners. Like, what's the point?
Exactly.
So look how dark this is. I lost my trail of thought because it's so black. This looks so good. And I've tried to do a smoky eye like this with a pencil, and I end up looking like a panda. Like, it always goes wrong. Please, can you share, like, what should we do? Help us out. Help a sister out.
So, with these pencils, they are absolutely amazing, just like Mikai was just saying. I like to apply or do a smoky eye with pencils, creamy pencils, no matter the color, because I always say smoky eye isn't a color, it's a technique, right? So for me, I like to kind of create a beautiful cloud around the eye. So starting off with the lash line, it should always be the darkest.
Okay.
And then you're gonna blur out. Okay, so it's really important. This is like when the blending comes in. And this can take, especially if you need to make up, a little bit of practice. But what you do want to do is make sure that the product is at the base, and then you're literally going to gradually blend it up.
I notice you've got 3 different brushes right now. I think my mistake is that I do it all with one brush.
Yeah.
Like, I almost assume, oh, this one should be fine because it's only one color.
Yeah.
But you've got a clean one to sort of take the color up into the brow bone.
Always. And then I've also got one that's a little bit more dense, and this is what is moving the color for me.
Okay.
Because one thing about these is that once it sets, it stays put. You don't have to worry about it moving at all. I've got a smaller one just because of Shana's actual eye shape. I need a smaller one to go into her socket. And then we've got a clean one to just blend, okay? And clean up where we need to.
So you need 3 different brushes or 2? Could you do it with 2?
You could definitely do it with 2, depending on the eye shape. This is just because my beautiful model's got those gorgeous slant eyes.
Okay.
So I needed something a little bit smaller. But these 2, one that's a little bit more dense and a blending brush is what you would need in general.
And could we use this as a base for other colors? If you wanted like a glittery eye or a shimmery eye, could you use this black underneath?
this is the perfect base for everything. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be the black. We do blue, we do red, we do green. We do so many different colors. So this can be the base for anything, and it's going to make those shimmers actually pop more.
Okay. Wow.
So look up for me. So we're going to go in. And so everything I always say with smoky eye, everything I do on the top, I mimic on the bottom as well.
Okay.
Don't be scared to bring the color low, okay? That's, I think that's where people go a lot wrong with obviously doing a smoky eye, is that it needs to be balanced. So you need to go quite far down, just not in the waterline.
I see.
Okay?
I think that's where I'm going wrong. Because I do one line and then I get scared and I'm like, oh, okay, this is
And then you stop.
It's getting kind of crazy. Like, let me stop.
Exactly.
But you've continued to go down and blend it out.
Continue to go down and blend up. And the great way to find if you've gone down enough is actually if you go across here, you should go straight into the socket and that will show you.
Oh, so it should all sort of join in together.
Always.
Okay.
Always.
Do I have to set this product or can I just leave it and
I'm telling you guys, the only thing you need to do is work this product in as fast as possible.
Okay.
Because it will stick. Okay? So it will stay. So you don't need to say it with anything at all. Okay.
That looks really good.
Eyeshadow
Eyeshadow or anything. I almost feel like this could be a look on its own.
This literally is a look on its own.
What's your go-to colors for smoky eye?
Oh, blue. I love electric blue smoky eye.
Okay.
Yeah, on myself, I will do electric blue smoky eye myself. I absolutely love it. But yeah, no, God, I've done everything. Orange, red.
Oh my God.
Like I said, it is just the technique, a smoky eye, that beautiful cloud around the eye.
And if someone's a complete beginner or they're just getting into eyeshadow now, would you recommend they start with a pencil or over an eyeshadow to do a smoky eye?
I would say the pencil would be easier.
The pencil's easier,
yeah,
okay.
I think that you can like really learn with a pencil. I think sometimes with eyeshadow, what you tend to have, especially if you haven't set the eye properly, is that it starts going patchy as you're trying to blend it up.
Yeah.
Where this will always stay creamy and work with you. Close your eyes for me.
I find that happens as well. When you use a shadow, if you don't have the technique down, you tend to get like little patches, which are really hard to correct because you sort of want to add more to correct it, which makes it worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And depends on the intensity that you want. You can always go back with the pencil as well and just go along the lash line.
Yeah.
Nice for me. I'm just going to do it really quickly. But what I do love to do, especially when I'm doing a smoky eye, so I'm going to make it a little bit more intense there, but then also apply it in the waterline as well.
I see. I was literally about to ask, do you ever go with a contrasting color or do you always keep it very dark if you're doing a black smoky eye?
Today we're going to keep it black. However, there is times where I use white if I want it to be a little more alienated. Depends on kind of what the vibe I'm going for.
Yeah.
Fairy-like, I might go for a pop of colour.
Yeah.
Look down for me. And I also go into the top waterline as well, just to make those lashes look thicker.
I've started using brown on my waterline and like brown mascara. I've been sort of experimenting with trying a softer color for like the day-to-day, for like a breakfast or a lunch. Are you a fan of like the brown line and mascara, or are you like a true...
I'm a true... Like,
you're a true like black liner, black mascara girl.
You know.
Yeah.
Every time I put brown on, I just feel like...
Yeah, it could do more.
Do you know what I mean?
It could
I
be
think,
more.
but because I'm darker skinned, do you see what I mean? So
Yeah.
again, you're going to get a little bit more of a contrast, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And you're able to see it. But on my skin, I feel like I want something a little bit darker than my skin tone to make it pop a little bit more.
Yeah.
But when it comes to colour, I would do like green, red, or any colour.
Yeah. What's a good color for someone who just wants to try out color? Like they haven't ever ventured into that area and they're like, you know, I'm going to buy one pencil and give this a try. What color would they get?
I think that is where I will say maybe a grey or a brown.
Okay.
Yeah. Like grey's nice because
Yeah,
it still
grey is
gives
really
you-
unique. That sounds really interesting. Yeah.
Grey is nice. We do one. So grey is called Ashbury Hort or Hort Ashbury. And it's a great shade because it's a little bit cooler as well. So it's just a bit softer than black.
Okay.
So that is quite a nice
I'll definitely
one to
have to
think.
pick that up.
Okay, so we're going to go on to Endless Nights palettes. You love this palette,
Yes,
don't
I
you?
do. I literally used it in a video last week, and I only planned to use it on my eyes, and then I ended up using it on my cheeks as blush, as highlighter, then I used it on my lips, and I was like, hold on, like, she is a massive slay. This eyeshadow palette sort of replaces quite a few of your products, and I think that makes it a good gift for someone who is like getting into makeup, wants something that they can use across their whole face.
Definitely. I'm just using it literally. I'm using this darker color here to use as a more of a transition shade and just to give a little bit of dimension.
It's almost
on
like
the
a
eye.
cool wine shade, I would say.
It really is. And then I'm going to go in with this beautiful kind of red shimmer. Whenever I do like shimmers, I always use my fingers.
Yeah.
Because it picks up the pigment better than a
Yeah,
brush
I find
would.
that as well. I tend to use my fingers over a brush.
And I'm literally just going to do a little pop of color just in the center. Because, we was talking about adding glitter.
Yeah.
Especially because we're in the festive season now. I do love a little bit of glitter.
It does
on the
almost
eye.
match the blush as well.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It works like beautifully together.
That looks so good on you.
So do the same on the other side. And then we're going to just finish off with a little bit of mascara. And we're going to be using the Climax mascara today.
I'm a big fan of Climax. I have no lashes. I always wear strip lashes. Like, I don't think there's been a day where I have not put strip lashes on my eyes. But I always use Climax on my bottom lashes because they seem to be the star of the show for some reason. Like, put a bit of mascara on my bottom lashes, they're like touching my cheeks. So I love using Climax for that, just because I feel like it's really black and the brush really gets in there and gets my lashes like really thick and spidery. Like, I'm a big spider lash girl.
Love that. Me too. And I'm like a grungy lash as well, you know, when
Yeah.
it's like messy. Again, another great technique to use. But the brush, I always say it's 50% brush, 50% product. And I love a big brush.
Yes.
And you can really kind of get in there, separate the lashes, look at for me. And again, same on the lower lashes. I do like it to be a little bit more doll-like and spidery.
Yeah,
I love
I
that
tend
look
to
as well.
apply one layer and let it dry a little bit and then go in with another layer because I find that gives me like the thickest, longest lashes. And if you have short lashes, you know the struggle. You have to do
me.
so much
That
work
is me.
to get your lashes to look long.
Mine are short and curly.
Oh my God.
Like, too much.
Yes.
So I do need that's one thing, I do need a good mascara, and I love this one. This is exactly what you said. Because it's a lacquered formula, it literally stays on, but also stays true black throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
I hate mascaras that end up going grey after a few hours of using
Or
it.
like they flake off under your eyes or something.
Oh,
like
I
I
hate that.
noticed with this one, it really stays on. Like once it's on, it's on.
Exactly.
Gorgeous.
All right.
I feel like I'm just
me.
throwing random compliments at you, like amazing, beautiful.
Okay, so we're going to go on to lip. And we're going to do a nude lip because with the smoky eyes, again, it's all about balance, and we've done cheeks as well. So we don't want, obviously, to overpower the whole look. So I chose the beautiful Get It On Power Matte Lip Pigment, which I love. It's one of my favorite formulas. And I'm going to be using it today with, we're going to do a bit of a gloss as well.
I'm more of a Power Matte lipstick girl.
Are you?
I'll be
Why?
honest. I like that it's moisturizing and it goes on like a lipstick, but then it dries down really matte. So it gives me that bit of time to like blend it out before it completely sets.
Okay.
Why do you prefer the other?
I'm sport for choice. If I'm
Yeah.
totally honest, I'm literally sport for choice. But I always go back to my lip pigment because more so the brush. When I don't want to use a lip liner, this is great for that. So you can get the precision that you need to get. And it really does last. It stays on for
Yeah.
hours. No matter if I drink, eat, or anything like that,
Yeah.
it stays true. And I am a matte girl through and through on my lips.
Oh, okay.
But I don't like it to go like too dry in on the lip.
Yes.
So yeah, that is the reason why I love it. And the color is absolutely amazing as well. You've got so much shades that you can choose from as well.
I'm currently using Afterglow, I'll be honest, because I'm in a gloss era right now. I sort of go from one to the other. I'm either matte or glossy. I never have a time where I mix it up. And I think I've been glossy for like 6 months straight. Like I haven't just used a matte lipstick and not put a gloss on.
Pressure lips again.
Talk to me about this lip liner. It's like a nice chocolate brown.
Oh, I always love a chocolate brown, especially on a darker skin. I think especially when you're doing something a little bit more nude, you need to have a darker lip liner for the contrast. So I'm using the beautiful Spunk. It's one of my favorites. You hear me talk about this all the time.
Yeah, it's always sold out too. So like,
that's the
NARS
only
team,
thing. That's the only
please
thing.
restock Spunks. Literally.
It is always sold out. It is one of our best sellers. It's such a beautiful brown shade with no red in it. So that's why it's so beautiful, because sometimes even with a brown lip liner, it's hard to get.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's very hard to find a nice deep brown lip liner.
Definitely. And then we're going to finish off with a little bit of our Triple X Afterglow. I know you said you love these.
Yes.
So we're using
My
Triple X.
favorite. Here she is.
And I love using it on the lips, but I also use it on the eyes.
Okay, wow.
As well, for a glossy lid look as well. So this is really gorgeous because it is super, super shiny. And what I love about this is that it just doesn't, it's not sticky at all.
Yeah.
Seeing is believing. You guys have to try it. That's the thing that made me go off a gloss years ago, because of the stickiness in my hair getting caught to it.
Yeah.
But with this, it doesn't. And that is the look.
That is the finished look. Okay. Gorgeous. And you did that so quickly. I would still be on the eyeshadow. Like, I'm going to be honest.
Amazing. Okay, so what we're going to do now is change over, aren't we?
Yes,
guys?
Now we're going to do a panel. So can all the beautiful creators join us on the stage?
Huh? No. Just you want to go sit in the front for me.
One, two, one. Is this, yeah, are we in? Oh, yeah, we're in. How good was that? That was so amazing. Let's give them a round of applause, guys. Oh, how beautiful. Yeah, let's all take a seat. Get all the fangs out the way so you can actually see. Also, I was just having a look around the room. I have never seen so much beauty in one place at one given time. You guys are absolutely stunning. How are you finding today? Good? Yeah, taking away some good nuggets of information. I was definitely sat there making some notes. I was thinking, right, foundation, fingers, heat it up, let me apply. Are we all in? Are we all here?
Oh, yeah, we're missing Cherelle.
Okay, right, we'll wait a couple secs. Thank you so much for that demonstration as well. That was
fabulous.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, Cherelle made my job
very
so easy.
insightful. Let's give them another round of applause. Absolutely amazing. So thank you guys so much for attending today. I'm Jourds and I'll be your host of this panel. So we're going to be delving into beauty, and we have got some absolutely sensational ladies with us that are going to give us a bit of an insight into their world. And at the end of that, we're also going to be doing a Q&A. So if you've got any questions, jot them down, remember them, and then we'll ask them at the end. We'll go around and ask at the end. So I think the first place to start off is if we just go around, say our names, and say how we got into the beauty industry. Let's start off with yourself.
Hello, my name is Joy Adenuga. I'm a professional makeup artist. I've been in the industry 14 years and counting. I started in editorial, then I moved into bridal, but currently I'm more celebrity, red carpet, commercial.
Oh, celebrity. Oh, we like that.
Yeah, so that's me in a wrap.
Hi everyone, I'm Mikai. I was a session hairstylist, similar to Joy. I did editorial, I did lots of fun things, the BAFTAs, Teen Vogue, Cosmo, and then I just sort of drifted into makeup and beauty history and writing through my master's degree. So a bit of a zigzag, but I got here in the end.
Hi, as I said before, I'm Cherelle. I have been in makeup for 20 years, believe it or not, a long time. But I was lost. And actually my partner paid for my first makeup course, and then I started doing makeup then, and I fell in love with it. And then again, I've done a lot of freelance, so it was more bridal. And then I'm very lucky to work for an amazing brand that I get to do absolutely everything from the film festivals, fashion week, celebrity clientele, everything. So very lucky and blessed.
Hi, my name is Uche Natori. I got my break creating online digital content on YouTube over 11 years ago, and since then I have expanded to Instagram and also TikTok.
Hi, my name is Esther. I've been doing makeup for about 16 years, which is actually a really long time. I started off on YouTube a really long time ago. Actually, no, that's not where I started. I started off in church, doing makeup for the church choir. That's where I started. And then I went on to YouTube, and I've been doing makeup ever since. I do a lot of bridal, some TV, some film, but yeah, I absolutely love my job.
Hi everyone, my name is Nashaat, and I got into makeup kind of so I've always loved makeup, but I think in terms of getting into the online space and creating content, it was kind of by accident. And I just kept creating videos, and of course TikTok, you know how TikTok is, you can post a video and it can blow up. So yeah, that's kind of where it took off for me.
Let's give them a little round of applause to our beautiful ladies. So a lot of you have worked with like celebrities, and you've really built a name for yourselves within the industry. If anybody is sat here right now thinking to themselves, right, I've got everything that I need, but I need to try and build up a presence online, how would you say about going and doing something like that? Anyone can jump in and answer.
I'll jump in. I think when it comes to building an online presence, the number one thing is to go where mass attention is. So I mentioned earlier, I started over 11 years ago on YouTube. Back then, YouTube was like the hot spot, so everyone used to create beauty content primarily on YouTube. Eventually, everyone moved over to the Instagram, so did I. And now since, I would say maybe like the past 2-3 years, a lot of people are on TikTok. So I think if you're serious about building an audience, particularly if you haven't already got one on a particular platform, then always go where a lot of people are, which right now is TikTok. And I say to everyone, if you're not on TikTok, then you're not really serious about really growing a presence online. If you already have an audience on other apps, it's so much easier to obviously transfer because people will be familiar with your face. But if you're starting anew, definitely TikTok. Like she said, it's the easiest place to blow up and get followers in today's climate.
And there's, what was you going to say?
I was also going to say, yeah, I agree with everything Uche just said, but also I think if you are going to start on TikTok, 2 things: you need to be consistent and you need to be authentic. And when I say authentic, for me personally, if I like a product, that's when I'll talk about it. If I have discovered a technique in my own, experience in, you know, doing makeup, I've realized actually I really like applying it this way, that's the best content, and that's where people will resonate with that because it's helpful for them, and they will try it and see, actually, yeah, I agree with her, and that's where your content will do better. Yeah.
So do you think it's like quite important to like find a niche as well within the space, or is it literally just a case of like post and make sure that you keep up with that consistency?
For me, since I've literally jumped from one industry to the other, not by choice, I would just say go with what comes naturally to you. So now the question is, I'm going to talk on being a makeup artist. Obviously, my colleagues will talk more on like online presence and stuff like that. So for me, when I first started, I loved editorial, I loved Pat McGrath, I loved fashion, I loved being creative. And the reason why I went into bridal was because I had kids, and bridal was just easier for me at that point in time. Now I've come to a part of my life where I just naturally drifted into celebrity world. I did not wake up one morning and like, I want to do celebrity on Monday morning. It's just happened. So I would say sometimes don't force it if it's not yet time for you. Because one thing I've realized with my experiences, if you force it, you might get tired and leave. Because I have colleagues that started with me at the beginning, and a lot of them have even left the industry completely. And that was because at that time, being a makeup artist was trending. Everybody wanted to be a makeup artist, but because it wasn't genuine, everyone was doing it, so they decided. So that was not genuine, and a lot of them, they've left the industry. So I would say, let it come naturally to you. Obviously, follow trends and everything, but sometimes I just feel as a person, you would know. If something is coming from your mind, there's just something about that instinct that just tells you.
So kind of like allow to go with it and don't rush so fast to be like, right, tomorrow I want to be working with celebrities. Take it step by step. And I guess as well, when you do that, you're learning so much on the journey at the same time. So you're picking, nuggets of information up as you go along. And so when you do get to that at the end of it, you're well equipped, I'm guessing, huh? Yeah. So speaking about trends, makeup trends. Any makeup trends that you're currently vibing with at the minute?
No foundation.
No foundation.
I put foundation on today, but that no foundation? Yeah, she got me, I can't lie. The concealer, it's essentially a full face of concealer.
Talk me through it from like start to finish. How does it work?
So I recently tried it a few weeks ago, and there was a girl online called Amaya. I'm sure she's not the one that coined it, but she definitely popularized it, particularly on TikTok. And she essentially uses a lot of product, which is crazy because I'd moved away from using a lot of product. But she uses this hourglass concealer. Sorry, NARS. love you guys. She uses the Hourglass concealer underneath her eyes and then like a really strong contour, which I love, and then essentially uses a concealer that's similar to her skin tone to clean up the bronzer and the contour in it. I was skeptical because I'm such a foundation person. I'm wearing foundation today. But it turned out really amazing. Have you guys seen it?
I haven't. But
You haven't?
I've not been on TikTok because I'm revising for my finals. But
She's going to be a doctor, guys.
Woo!
inshallah, pray for me, guys. If I pass these exams.
Multi-talented babe over there.
Thank you. I was going to say I haven't, but when they put on the concealer, do they kind of do it all in one layer? Is it like an underpainting situation?
She did it all in one layer, but I don't like blending. You know when people blend out the concealer and then they blend into the contour and that kind of, I don't like the contamination.
Yeah, it looks
so
muddy.
Yeah, it just looks a bit weird. So I'll blend out the contour first and then I'll blend out my under eye and then I'll do the cleanup. But there's so many, and this is like one of the really good things I love about trends and your own content is you can take a trend and make it your own. Because I think a lot of people try to take the trend and imitate it, but it might not necessarily work for you. So you just got to like amalgamate it in a way that works for you.
Do you think when you first start out, practicing a lot is very important? And is there a certain amount of time that you would kind of like commit yourself to doing that on a weekly basis? Or would you just say, you know,
I think you should practice in real time. And I think a lot of us underestimate how much the people watching us want to see us go through the stages and the process. There's never really a good time or the best time or the right time. I think if anyone wants to make content, you should just pick your phone up and practice. There's a girl that does her natural hair. She doesn't know how to do her hair. And all her content is like, oh, can you guys help me? I'm trying to find a hair gel that works for natural hair. And it's like a big community of everyone just helping each other. So I think you shouldn't be afraid and you shouldn't wait till you're at a certain point. People like to see the journey.
100%.
And I would say from a makeup artist perspective, practice is definitely very key. But I also feel like you grow with time and your clientele will change with time as well. Like the makeup I was doing for the choir when I was 16 years old, I thought it was great at the time. And that was my way of practicing. At the time, I was probably charging like £5 per person. So I feel like you can practice as you go, like you said. But yeah, practice makes perfect. So don't be discouraged if you're trying to do something and then you're looking on Instagram, like, it does not look the same. It's not adding up. Trust me, our old work did not look the same. So, yeah.
And what about like, I mean, you guys are absolute professionals. Do you still have to try when it comes to like certain trends and stuff and give it a go or?
Yeah, definitely. Like I was having a discussion with Esther just before we came upstairs. I'm taking it back to the concealer thing, and I have it on today because I'm like, we're going to talk about trends. I might as well just do it. So I don't have a foundation on right now. I
Look
did
at
the
her
concealer.
skin.
So it's just the concealer thing. Number one is fast. For me, the kind of lifestyle I live, like I do not have 1 hour. I don't have 30 minutes. Yeah, literally, if I can do my makeup in 10, 15 minutes, I'm good. Yeah, I've got kids to take to school, school clubs, get to the client. After school clubs, my son is doing 11 plus exams. I can go on. So, ain't nobody got time to stand in front of the mirror. So, I won't lie. There are two trends. Sorry, I'm bringing it back to trend. It kind of ties in. So, there are two trends I'm loving at the moment, which is, I think it came from the COVID, which is everyone is loving their skin at the moment. Everyone is taking care. Like, people now know what vitamin C is. They know what, all the acids are and everything. So it almost ties in with almost like the concealer trend, like good skincare, then just use concealer to just cancel out, And like, I've been in the industry 14 years. I'm 41 years old, and I'm still doing trends.
And you look fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, doesn't she look good? Oh, doesn't she look good? Question off the back of that, time. How long is too long to do makeup?
What does that mean?
Like, how long is too, like, if you was doing your face for like 3 hours, 4 hours,
Oh!
yeah, like, how long is too long? How long should it take for us to be able to do a beat face? No time.
The only thing is, I feel like with
I feel like as a makeup artist, I mean, 2 hours, anything after that is really, it's a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a bit excessive.
But I feel like there's no time. Like if you're doing your face, take your time, Enjoy
especially
it.
if you're getting ready with your friends.
Luxury as well.
I like to start getting ready like 3-4 hours before, because I put my music on. My friend might sometimes my friends FaceTime me, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of like getting ready. What is so important that needs a call?
Also shooting behind the scenes.
I've got to set up my camera.
pictures.
So I think give yourself time but usually when I give myself a lot of time, I get ready so fast, just because when you're not thinking about it, you get ready way quicker. But if you make a mistake, then you can, I feel like when you're rushing is when you really like mess up.
I think when you think about being a makeup artist, though, and I think just going back to what you said, is that an hour and a half, most of your clients want to be ready by then. Do you know what I mean? So it depends. But when you're doing it on yourself, I think it's quite nice. I know if I'm going out, being a mum myself as well, I will take 2-3 hours. I'm totally with you, girl. Do you know what I mean? And champagne, and it's a whole thing, the getting ready part, right? Set the mood.
There's pleasure in the process. So you've got the music on in the background, you're vibing.
I'm tired the time I'm going through the door because I've had my party in my house already. But being a mum, I have like 20 minutes. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? This was 20 minutes. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think another thing that I will say is, well, as a makeup artist, sometimes you're not given the luxury of time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, okay, we have to be on red carpet in half an hour, and you need to know how to do a face in half an hour.
And work with the hairstylist.
And work with the hairstylist if you push it there.
So how do you get from doing a face, how do you shorten it into 30 minutes? What are your kind of key pointers for being able to do a whole beat face in just 30 minutes? Any top tips?
Sometimes you've only got 10 minutes. If I'm going backstage, depending if a model's coming from another show and they've got to have the full look on. Number one, you might be working with other people, so someone might be doing an eyeliner, I might be doing the skin. Again, going back to multiple use products or what the key makeup look is. So for instance, if it's all red lips and they all need to have a red lip on, I will start with that. And then I can do the skin in lineup if I have to. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
So you'll get a brief of what the main things are, and then you just have to go in for that.
Whilst working with everybody else, like the hairstylist.
Oh, gosh. So 3 tips. Any 3 tips for that, for condensing it into 30 minutes?
Multi-use products.
Multi-use, yeah.
Aha.
Yeah, that has saved my life. Basically, when I say saved my life, not you know what I mean.
Yeah. In context.
Yeah. Sometimes just even a bronzer. You could use a bronzer as, obviously your contour, an eyeshadow, even blush, sorry, NARS, Fenty Mocha Mami. Fenty Mocha Mami, I've used that for so many things. I've even used it as a lip gloss. I've just scraped some, this one I had, I was doing a celebrity, I was working with a hairstylist, she had 20 minutes to get out the door. So I just used Mocha Mami, I scraped a couple of it. I used it on the eyebrows, on the eyes, as a blush. Lip gloss. So learning how to have products that you can use in certain ways helps a lot.
Amazing, thank you. And there could be people in the audience right now who are thinking to get into the world of beauty and makeup artistry as well, and thinking, where do I even begin? I use TikTok myself. I think it's so amazing for the amount of knowledge that you can get from there. But sometimes it can also be very overwhelming at the same time. Have you got any advice on that? Where to begin? And what to do when you're first starting out?
I think it's easy to compare yourself to other people. To look at others in your niche and say, oh, they're bigger than me, or they do this type of makeup, I do this type of makeup. I think being online, you have to have this level of self-assuredness that what I make will find the right person. And that's going to keep you going. Even on the days when you film something, you take 3 hours to film it, it gets 100 views. It keeps you going even through those down times. So I think knowing that you have the confidence and the willingness to learn and be open to learning and open to feedback, because it's easy for us, I think, as being online for so long, sometimes someone says something and it upsets you. We're still human, just because we're on a screen. But it's also fighting through that and knowing that you have so many people that want to know you. They want to get to know you. They want to know what you like. They want to know why you choose this lip gloss over that one. So I think we all need to know that there's a community for us out there.
100%, most definitely.
So just jumping on the back of that, regarding to low views and low engagement, because I feel like that's something that most people struggle with. And I think the issue is when people experience low engagement or low views, the immediate response is almost to check out and say, well, I'm not going to put up any more content. But my ex-boyfriend actually gave me some really good advice when I was having a season of low engagement. I think it was on YouTube at the time. And he essentially said, if you zoom out on your career or your 5 years or your 10 years or whatever, generally you're going to see a growth. But if you zoom in on like a week or maybe like months, you're going to see like peaks and troughs. It will go down and up. So if you focus on like the downs and the ups too much, it's going to affect your overall long-term growth. So that's one thing, just that as long as you're growing, don't worry about what each individual day the engagement is like. And another thing that I take comfort in is, I might upload a string of videos one day that don't do as well, but then the next day I have really high engagement. But that's the thing about social media that I've always known to be true. Sometimes you're in a high engagement season, sometimes you're in a low engagement season. You shouldn't let your productivity be swayed by either, because oftentimes if you're doing really well, it makes people want to post more. And when you're not doing well, it makes you not want to post. But you should have a schedule and stick to the schedule regardless of the outcome. And then pointers like 6 months, 3 months, a year, those are really good times to reflect on your general growth or your general engagement and then strategize based on that and get away from looking at the day-to-day kind of engagements.
I think another thing is as well, when we put into context, so let's say you post a video that only gets 100 views. If you put 100 people in a room, that's actually a lot of people. And even if it helps one person, that's still significant. Yeah. So I think you have to just put it into context.
Great nuggets of information there. Thank you, ladies. One question we see quite a lot on social media. It's flying around in spaces all the time, and it's the debate on how much you should be paying for makeup artists. And what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. It's in every industry, but we're seeing it quite a lot about hair and about beauty as well. If somebody is starting off in the makeup industry and they are thinking, what do I even charge? What would you say is a safe charging rate when you're first starting off? I'm not going to ask how much you're getting paid, don't worry, ladies.
Do you charge per hour? Do you charge per look?
Okay, this is a very, I can't, like Esther, we've charged ridiculous money, like £10, like, so it's more like, that's why I find it difficult telling people, knowing how much I charged when I first started. I did a lot of free work, and obviously I will not tell somebody, oh, go and do the same free work I did. When I first started, I was charging £10. You just started, you have to start charging £10. So that's why it's a bit dicey for us to kind of tell them what to charge. So what I tend to do is, if I have someone that's kind of learns under me, it's more like your kit. How much have you spent on your kits? How much is your travel? I always say, either add your travel or don't add your travel. Pick one and everything. Then this is why I always tell people, make sure your technique is solid. If you do someone's face and you charge them a particular amount, they will not blink twice to pay you that amount. But if you go, even if you charged £5 and the makeup is shit, sorry for my language, and they will argue, like, why did I pay £5 for that? So if I have to put an amount, I would say, because I know some people start from like £75. So I think base rate, you could, and again, depend on how much experience you have. So I didn't start from £75. I started way less. I was doing free work for so long. So I would say maybe 75, but then again, somebody would debate that.
And then I guess as well, maybe even having a look at other makeup artists in the area and seeing what their fees are, how long they've been around for, and maybe kind of reflecting it potentially based off of that? Or?
Also, I would say it depends on the area you live.
Yeah.
Like, I noticed London is obviously the most expensive. Yes. How much somebody charges in, on the outskirts of London, or completely outside London, we obviously, if you're in London, you probably have to charge a lot more because it's very expensive. Rents, travel, everything is expensive. So I would say location matters as well.
And what would you say about like collaborations and things like that and working in this industry? Do you think they're quite important when it comes to the beauty industry?
Extremely important.
Yeah.
Extremely. Extremely. I cannot drag that Because even me, I'm guilty of that. I was like, I want to stay in my own lane. I want to be a good girl. I don't want to go anywhere, come back home and everything. But I don't know where you want to go. Even things like this, as you're here, make sure you introduce yourself to the brands, to people. You don't know the person next to you, whether they're going to be somebody that's going to help your journey up. You don't know. So anywhere you go, and this is something I always tell makeup artists that are coming out, when you're doing things like collaborations with a photographer, a hairstylist and everything, make sure you make an impression before you leave the sets. The photographer will be like, I worked with this makeup artist last week. I can't stop thinking about her. She was so personal. I'm not talking about me. I'm nice too, but yeah, but it's more like you want to leave that environment, and when the person goes away, they're thinking about you. She was so nice. She helped me out. She offered to make me coffee. People remember things like that. You'll be shocked. Just try and make an impression anywhere you go. It doesn't have to be here, but anywhere you go, people remember. And I'm a living proof of that. Yeah.
And then off the back of that as well, you'll then be able to either work with them again in the future, and they'll bring you in on other jobs. So it really does help, doesn't it?
It does.
Talk to me, we've got some base queens in the building. Talk to me about the perfect base. How do we line ourselves up to create the perfect base?
Sorry, before I start, I just feel like this question is complex, and I think we're all going to have a very different answer. I personally feel like there's no right or wrong way to do your makeup. I feel like just express yourself. Do you know what I mean? Today we're sitting down, me and Uche were like...
I made Esther touch up my under eye. Guys, let me tell you a funny story. Sorry, this is off topic, right? Sorry. But Esther is an incredible makeup artist. You've probably seen her work everywhere. And I had a birthday one year, and I was going to do a huge party, and I really wanted to book a makeup artist. So I asked Esther, what's your pricing structure? So she sent it to me, and I said, okay, amazing, perfect. I'll let you know what dates I want to use you. She can turn around to me and say, oh, it's for you. No, I cannot do it. And she was being so serious. So I think everyone is so personal to how, She was like, I can't do your makeup because you do your makeup a particular way. And I was like, hey, but I like the way that you do makeup, and I want you to do that on me. So it's very specific.
Exactly. I think how, I like a bright under eye, for instance, but then I also have days where it's just skin. I just wear my Studio Fix powder, or a little bit of my NARS foundation, put it in areas, lip liner, and I'm out. So I feel like it depends on what you're trying to achieve. But what I will say is your base and how you skin prep, I would say, is one of the most important things in having a flawless finish. And you touched on this earlier, have in mind what your end goal is, what you're doing, whether you're going to be out all day. And I think also multi-use products as well, using different foundations in different areas. I do that. Today I have a matte foundation down here. I have a dewy foundation everywhere else. I feel like just what look do you want to have? And then it doesn't have to be so okay, structured today. Like what you said, I want a matte look, so I'm going to use all matte products. No, you need to think about what it is that you want to do, how long you're going to be out for, and yeah.
I would say also being realistic about what your skin type is, because I think a lot of us may look at a look and it's super dewy or super glowy, but if you know that you have very oily skin, you'll have to customize the look to work for you. So literally what Uche and Esther said are so right. We all have really different answers, because for me, some days I will use natural radiant longwear because I want full coverage and I know I'm going to be out for a long time. But if I'm just doing something where I want to look really glowy and my makeup, I want it to look like skin, I might use Shiseido Synchro Skin, or I might just use a little bit of concealer. So it's just about having an idea, yes, of what you want at the end, but also knowing what your skin can do. In a lot of my videos, I say this thing, I'm I know my skin can't make it there. You should know, some things, Miss Girl, she can't do it. So I know my skin, I know what she can do, so just get to know what your skin can do.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, so it's more about kind of understanding your skin, what works with your skin, and then also knowing the direction that you want to take the look in at the same time as well.
The only way to get there as well is experiment. Obviously, if you're not used to using certain products, you need to be able to experiment with these products and try new things. And this is why we say, it's just makeup. You could take it off if it doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? But definitely
Heavy
have
on
a
that,
play.
you can take it off. We acting like it's going to stay on your skin for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
You can take it off. Also, actually, a really big one that no one's spoken about, well, you touched on it earlier, tools. So back in the day, I used to watch Sandra Deluxe on YouTube, and she would practically do everything with her hands. Me and my hygiene and my OCD, I can never, I have done foundation with my fingers, light reflecting, and also Fenty Blur Stick is very good with your fingers. But generally, I'm like a brush girly. Even under my eyes, I will do a brush. I'll do like a final pass of sponge, but I'm very much a brush person, so it's figuring out what type of tools you like. If you like using tools, whether you want to use your fingers, and again, mixing and matching for different parts of your face. You can use a brush for one place, your hands for another, yeah.
I'm kind of in between, so I call it my foundation application technique, but it's very similar to what you were saying earlier. I like to apply the foundation on my skin first with my fingers and spread it out, and then I layer setting spray to make sure that it lasts longer, but then I go in with a brush and blend it all out. So do what works for you, try different techniques and see how you can combine different things to see what you like more, what you like less.
Right, we're going to go around, and you've got to tell me 3 beauty items that you'll find in your bag at all times. What 3 items will we always find in your bag?
A lip gloss, very vital for juicy lips, of course. I would setting powder. I like glowing skin, but I don't like to look like a disco ball. I just like some certain parts of my skin shiny and the rest stay matte. Also, what do I have again in my bag? That's beauty items, right? Okay, so lip gloss, powder, then eyebrow. Yeah, because I don't know, I've tried those brow setting things. I don't know, they make my eyebrows look weird. I look like a wrestler, I'm not sure why. So my eyebrows come off very easily. So I always have my brow pencil so I can just,
Touch it up.
just touch it.
Yeah, throughout the day.
Very similar to Joy. I will not leave the house without a lip gloss. I'm sorry, you don't know where you could be. Your lips could be dry. That's the worst thing that can happen. Always have a dark brown lip liner and a setting powder of some sort. Normally a compact one that has a shade so that I don't have flashback or I'm not worried about anything. Top 3, always. My bag is right there. I know I've got my team with me, literally ready.
Everywhere you go.
Everywhere I go.
Mine has to be, it changes actually, but this week I have my Radiant Creamy Concealer. I told you guys it's my Desert Island product and I can use it everywhere. Has to be a lip balm, not so much lip gloss, but definitely a lip balm. And I think the last thing has to be a mascara. Always. Always. Because sometimes, I can take the residue of the mascara off and then brush it from my brows if I need to. Do you know what I mean? To give me a little bit of tint. I'm a multi-use girl. I use my products in different ways if I need to.
Love that.
Yes, so that's why.
Okay, mine's a bit different because I'm notoriously known for not leaving the house with makeup, but I will leave with my lip combo. So I'll take my lip liner, my liquid lip and a gloss, and then I always have fragrance. That is it.
Oh yeah, always have to. I can't pick 3. Okay. Okay, on my no makeup days, I always have a Studio Fix powder. The ones that your mum uses.
That's a goat.
That is my favorite thing. Always have to have a brown lip liner. I can't I can't. How can you not have lip liner? That's literally it's actually punishment. And
Not bad punishment.
it is punishment. And I would say, wait, what have I said? And a lip gloss. But on days where I am wearing makeup, I have to have eyelash glue. Have
Yes.
to. Especially if you're going to worship service and then you're crying and worshiping and the top of your lash falls off. You need to have the eyelash glue. And on the makeup days, I have a setting powder because the under eye has to pop at all times. Sometimes we walk around for that, it needs to pop. And a lip gloss. Yeah. And lip liner. This far, sorry.
Setting powder. I'm thinking about what I've got in my bag right now. Setting powder is usually what I take, especially if I'm wearing makeup, but I don't tend to use it. It's kind of like an emergency thing. Lip gloss, 100%. Makeup, no makeup day. You need lip gloss. This one's a little bit different. Kohol. It's kohol. So it's like, it's a cultural like beauty product. It's like eyeliner basically, like a tight line. Yeah, it's like African, Arab, Asian cultures will wear this. If you're not wearing makeup and you just put a bit of kohol in your waterline, you look done up. Like I'm telling you, it's a game changer. So I always take that just in case I'm looking a bit. When I don't, you know when you don't know what's wrong, like something's wrong with your makeup, but you don't know what it is? Waterline, I'm telling you, that's the problem. Yeah.
Amazing, thank you. And with the Beauty Beat, we're all about championing women of colour and bringing women of colour together. What do you feel like representation is like in the industry at the minute? Do you feel like we still have a long way to go when it comes to brands and representation as a whole, or do you feel like we're in a decent place?
The way no one wants to.
I know, really, everyone's just like,
I would say one of the reasons I left the editorial world, aside having kids, I was shocked at the amount of racism in the industry at that point in time. I will never forget, and I said this, I think during the Black Lives Matter movement, I actually did a post on this on my page, because it just gets to that point where like, I don't care, I'm gonna say it out and everything. And I think I sent my portfolio to a particular magazine, and they were like, oh, your son name doesn't match your work. Yeah, and that was it. I left. I just left. That was when I switched to bridal. I was like, that was the, like literally, you know when they slammed the door? Like, I'm done. Mic drop, and I left. And then I considered changing my name. I considered changing my lucky. Maybe if my name is a bit more English, because it was just getting through that door. I have an English first name. But I think it was my husband was like, but there are even some names in the industry that we haven't trying to learn how to pronounce. You know, some French names, some German names. So why do you have to change your name and everything? But that was one of the main reasons, aside the case that I left and everything. I would say there was a shift in the industry during the Black Lives Matter. And I use the word shift, not massively, because I almost felt like when the pandemic was away, they were like, okay, girl, bye. There could be much more. That's what I would say. Some people are going out of their way. We are now being invited to places and spaces we wouldn't be invited to in the past. But I will still say and maintain that there's still a lot more that could be done. Because there are some things 2023, and again, I'm that kind of person. I do not like drama. I don't like to speak out, but sometimes it's shocking to see some plain in the broad daylight things done, but there's a lot that still needs to be done. That's all I can say.
Which is why I suppose it's important to have things like this, discussions like this, and to keep championing women of colour and the creatives out there and people that are at the forefront, and also encourage a new audience to get involved and keep, posting your content and keep putting yourselves out there, because it's important. And it's when you take the time out to listen to stories like this and, what you've been through that make you realise we need to continue, So huge round of applause for the Beauty Beat for putting this together. And thank you, ladies, for your stories. We're going to go to a quick question and answer. I think we've got about 10 minutes or something. About 10 minutes. 9 minutes. Got to shoot off to radio. Sorry, guys. So we've got some questions. Have we got some microphones that are like milling around, or shall I go down and do a little... Have we got mics? We've got some. Have we got a question out? Yes, we've got a question over here. Yes. Just pop your hands up if you've got a question for any of my lovelies over here.
Is this on?
I feel like this is not on. Is this on?
Is it on?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm that person that's got two questions, but the first
Go
one's
on.
really quick. Given the fact that it's the end of the year, what have all been your favourite concealers? Because I've got to go to Sephora, so what's your favourite concealer?
Kevin Aquan Sensual Skin Enhancer.
I like the NARS. I would say two. One has been a staple in my kit, and one I recently just discovered off TikTok. So the first one is NARS Creamy Concealer. That's like a staple in my makeup artistry kit. Then the second concealer I literally just discovered. I thought it was like a viral thing on TikTok, but it's actually good. And that's the HNB concealer. Yeah, that's what I have on. You know, I said I just use like a concealer and that's it. Yeah, so that's a concealer I was shocked to like, as I'm not somebody that normally jumps into, oh, it's viral, so I have to buy it. But it's actually good. The only thing I would say is, again, we made a statement about knowing your skin type. I don't like it for my under eyes. It's quite thick for me, so I like to use it as a foundation because a little goes a long way on my skin.
Oh, go on.
I like the H&B one as well, but my all-time favourite is the Kevin Aquan Sensual Skin Enhancer. 10 out of 10, no notes.
I really like Pat McGrath's Skin Fetish Concealer. Really creamy, really great coverage. Does it for me literally every time.
I think mine is an acquired taste. I really like Huda Beauty Faux Filter, but if you have dry skin, don't just leave it alone. It's not. But the Pat McGrath one is definitely more universal for more skin types. But if you like super like bills paid, all your problems gone under eye, then the Huda Faux Filter was going to take you there.
I think the second question is that.
Oh, I was going to say, sorry, I really love the Hourglass concealer. It's absolutely incredible. And for my kit, I use Too Faced because you get so much product for your
But
money.
the formula's feeling different these days.
Really?
To me, the formula
Really?
feels
I haven't
different.
noticed. I haven't noticed. Is it different?
Now, my second question is it's mainly aimed at the content creators. Obviously, you guys started and makeup was your passion and you just love it and that's your job now. But now that you've amassed like thousands of followers, how do you differentiate this is my passion and my passion turned into my job, but now I feel like I have a duty to people's interests to know things on, especially like social media when it can kind of become a bit crazy? Like, how do you differentiate the two of like now that you have such a big audience?
I feel like it's easier to do that if you have a high posting volume. So I post every day, multiple times a day. So it's really easy for me to balance posting content that I want to post because I love it, and also trying things that people want me to try, like the No Foundation Challenge, that's really trendy. And then I ended up really loving it. I think for a long time I was really resistant to doing content outside of what I really like doing, and also using products outside of what I really love using, which actually worked against me because I feel like I was boxed for the majority of this year. But in like the past month, 2 months, I've been a lot more open and been more playful with my content. I think it's very important to stay playful with your content and stay very curious about whatever industry you're in. Obviously, I'm going to talk about makeup. Very curious about makeup, new launches, new techniques, because not only is it fun for your audience to watch something different, it also might open you up to different products that you like or different techniques that you like. I think for the majority of this year, I was kind of tapped out. And in hindsight, that was because I was doing the same things that I was very just like in my comfort of makeup. And, you know, like you said, I've been doing it for years and years and years. So it's easy to get in that kind of comfort of, oh, I'm just going to stay with my style. But there's so much fun and excitement in doing something different. So that's the era I'm in at the moment.
Amazing. Any more questions? Yes, we've got a question at the... Oh, yeah.
Hi, guys. I follow majority of you. Hi.
Hi.
I'm a makeup artist from Ireland. I flew over here today just to see all of
Wow.
you. But I have a question. So when I do bridal clients, it's really difficult when you have a certain particular style of why you want to do makeup, and then they're commenting on ways that they would want it done. How do you navigate that? Yeah.
What I would say is, and I'm sure Esther is going to contribute as well, do what you're being paid to do. Don't force what you think. Like, for example, I had a bride. She had this, what's that thing? Is it something blue? Sorry, something blue, not green, right? Sorry, I've been married for so long, I can't remember the color again. Something blue.
Something blue, yeah.
Yes,
Something blue.
she decided she wanted blue eyeshadow. She wanted blue eyeshadow, so I was like, trying to obviously talk her out of it and everything. Because think about it, if she walks down the aisle, they will come for me. Not her, it's me. Why did the makeup artist not say anything and everything? So I kind of, did like a Pinterest board of other timeless look and everything. You can gently, persuade them that, and I will never forget this particular bride. She wanted something timeless. But when I saw her dress and the hairstyle she wanted, I'm like, this is a red lip. This is a red lip, deep red lip with a liner. And she went with it. I think it was Chari's hair that did it, and she looked absolutely gorgeous. With, like, imagine me convincing a bride to have red lips. But it works. But again, if they want a certain thing, just do them. Don't just take any pictures.
Don't post it.
Yeah, don't post it.
You've never done it.
Tell the photographer not to tag you. Like, I'm not even, I wish I'm joking, but I'm not. This is something that's happened in real life. I had a bride. She's one of these bride that likes black lip liner. There's actually no black lip liner, so she will use a kohl pencil on her lips. So I'd finished her makeup, and she was like, well, I just need to pop into the toilet. So I turned back to get my camera ready. When I came, she came out with the black. So she was like, I'm ready for my picture. God forgive me. I told her my battery was dead. So you can't. Just like, oh my God, and just, but don't force. You can gently, gently suggest, maybe speak to the chief bridesmaid or the mom, but don't force them. Just go with the flow.
So maybe making a Pinterest, like you said, like a lookbook or something, presenting it to them, and then, seeing how they take it.
Also, really quickly, so I have this thing where, there's two things I have to say. One thing is I don't let people hold a mirror whilst I'm doing their makeup, because I feel like people get nervous in the middle and they're like, oh no, no. So I'm like, okay, at the end, I'll give you a mirror. But I always gauge my clients really well. So I ask them a lot of questions. And from that, I sort of know, is there a bit of leeway for me to do what I want to do, or are they going to be set on their ways? And if they're set on their ways, I always say, like, we're here to provide a service. Like, just, don't take your pictures and just do it how they want. Another thing, if you have a really particular client, is maybe do a trial beforehand. Do one side how you would do it, and then how they want to do it. And they'll be like, oh, okay, your side is better. So, that's a few tips.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. Oh, you got another one? All right, go on then.
I have two more. So the other question is, like, they will have Pinterest ideas of what they want to do, but it wouldn't suit their eye shape, and they'll be adamant that they want that look. How do you navigate that as well?
It depends on what they want. Like, for example, there are some eyeliner styles that won't suit some certain eye shape. So it's more or less customizing what they want for them. So if they have like wide set eyes and they want and they send you this image of somebody that their eyes are really small, so you can like, okay, what colors are we working with? That's why sometimes practicing, like one thing about me, when I practice, I try and get as many people that have different types of features, so I can say, okay, this is how I work on someone that's got, wide set eyes, round face, oval face, and everything. So what I try to do is customize what they want to suit their eye shape or face shape or eyebrow shape, or But again, going back to if they are dead sets, sis, just do it.
And I think just be honest and say it's not going to look like this.
Yeah.
Just tell them from the beginning, like, I'll do it, but it's not going to look the same.
Yeah, I do that. I mean, like, I have
thing
trials.
as well is have those conversations, actually investigate what they like about the look that they're showing you. Because most of the times they will be like, oh, I just like the fact that it's that colour. Do you know what I mean? And then you can show them different ways of applying it and doing it. So it's not always the whole look that they like. It just might be an element of the look that they like, and then you can like customize it.
Yeah, and also this goes back to Pinterest and images from bride. My number one thing with brides, when they are sending me images, I tell them, do not send me an image that's been edited. And if you're sending me an image, it has to be someone that has your same skin tone. You can't look like Alec Weck and send me Kim Kardashian. So how a red lip will look on Alec Weck and how a red lip will look on Kim Kardashian. Sorry guys, I talk like an old woman, I can't help it. They're completely different. So 2 things with my pictures. I say, send me an image that hasn't been edited. To be honest, it's difficult to find these days. And the person has to have the same features with you. That way you're able to manage their expectation.
Mm-hmm. So I think I'm getting kind of like a real general sense of being honest and not being afraid to speak up as well. And, you know, and also just doing it in, you know, a nice positive way, which you've just kind of outlined. I think we've got time for maybe one more question. Yes, one more at the front. Yeah, one more, and then I'm seeing this going on. Can we do one more? Yeah, one more. Oh, I don't want to decide.
I feel like she's had her hand up.
You've had your hand up for a while, yeah. Oh,
No, the lady
the lady.
with the glasses.
Oh no. Can we do two more, and then I'll run. Okay, cool. Yes.
First, I wanted to say you're all beautiful, and I don't see one line, no crack. I just wanted to know, how do you guys deal with laugh lines? Like, am I setting into it?
If you have them,
Do you know what?
they will show up. But
Stop
there are
it.
ways you can minimize them. But if you have a line in your face, I'm just gonna be honest, makeup will settle in it unless you get filler.
That is,
But
I always say that,
it's
like,
just-
makeup
that's-
doesn't
it
hide
just
what,
is what it is.
like, do you know what I mean? If you have something, it's in your skin, the makeup isn't gonna change your literal skin folds.
Do you know this was such a big deal? I actually had a live with Dr. Ewuma because I needed a doctor, a skin doctor, because I didn't want people to think that I'm just saying it because as a makeup artist, I can't do it. So I brought somebody that is a doctor of skin. Like, argue with them, like they're the ones telling you, you know, and they said, look, you know, obviously there are ways you can minimize, but you cannot completely erase it. So for me, number one, I tell the clients, you know, first of all, like, I'm not going to put a lot of powder on because we've tried this. There's nothing I've not even tried. Like, even some things I've tried on myself just because I've got smile lines myself. But what I find works for me is just minimal products. Because if you put that much, it's going to go straight to the line and chill there. So minimal.
Amazing, fabulous. And one more, I think it was at the front, wasn't it? Was it at the front? Where did you point out? Yes.
I'll be quick. Hi, thank you all for speaking. I have 2 questions. One for the makeup artist. If you're trying to build your following, your clientele, would you recommend posting makeup tutorials on your face or using models? Second question to the content creators, how important is talent management and when would you introduce it in your journey?
Okay, so I'll answer. So I'm quite controversial because I'm really terrible with posting my work. But when I first started, I would definitely say as a makeup artist, posting on other people is very important because how you do your own face and how you do somebody else is always going to be completely different. I think people want to have confidence that you can do someone else besides yourself. So definitely get your mom, your sisters, your cat, your dog, everybody, sit them down, practice makeup, take pictures, just so people can see that, oh, she can do it, and then they'll definitely book you.
And I didn't have management until quite late in the game, I would say. I don't really think it's essential, and I think now there are so many agencies that see a lot of young women in an industry and think they can take advantage of them. And I think you shouldn't underestimate that brands want you because of your work, not because of like a middle person. So I don't think you need to be thinking like, oh, I need to get management straight away. I think you have to produce like a portfolio of work that first you get brand interest, because if there's no interest, your manager you won't have a manager and they won't be interested either. So I think you can do it yourself. And I know a lot of people, they just do it with their friends. There are so many artists that like they have a friend that's super organized, headstrong and determined, and that ends up being their manager. And if you can keep it with your circle, then like, why not, you know?
Sorry, just to add to that, I think the time that you're going to have the season that you're going to have the most amount of time is typically at the beginning. And I think a lot of people want to get a manager and want to get, you know, a team to help them but it's often like people don't understand the importance of being able to do a lot of these things by yourself, because a manager is only as good as you can be. So if you're hiring someone to do something for you and you don't even know like the basics of that process, like Mikai said, it's very easy to be taken advantage of. Unfortunately, it's a very lucrative industry, so a lot of people are just in it. And you can tell the difference, I'm sure Hannah will tell you, she's at NARS, the difference between a manager that really cares about a talent and a manager that's just in it for a check. And I'm sure we could tell you like really amazing managers, but again, they can only work with what you give them. So I feel like at the beginning or at your earlier stages, the importance should be on like building a platform and building, you know, a body of work that you can really then go and like collaborate with brands on. And even then, it's so good for you to be the person that's meeting with brands at first, negotiating with brands, you know, answering emails. Number one, it's a lot of work, so you appreciate it when someone comes on and takes it off your hands. But number two, it's very important to have that skill set, dealing with money. A lot of influencers come into this, you know, oftentimes have never done an office job, have never done a professional full-time job. So you miss a lot of key skills when you give that to someone too early.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause for the panelists. How amazing was that? Thank you so, so much. Well, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, guys. Thank you.